Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode. Today we're going to be discussing some food plot maintenance tips for you guys. Some things we're doing right now that can help you this off season. Just some really important things to think about, especially if you have a property that's mostly timber. If you're creating food plots in the timber, you're definitely going to want to follow these tips. It's just something that's helped me out over the years. When we first started out, we were just cutting minimal, just a few trees here and there, just kind of clear out areas. And planting, some more shade tolerant mixes, and that didn't really work out that great for us. What we found out was probably the best thing to do, and what will help you guys out this year, is if you have timber plots or hidey hole plots, one of the most important things is canopy reduction. This food plot here that we're standing in was extremely shady for the first 3 years, and the radishes and cereal grain just didn't do that great. The cereal grain did better than the radishes, just due to they can handle a little more shade. They're a little more shade tolerant, but definitely want to focus on canopy reduction. Once you get full sunlight in here, as you can see, this is a lot more light in this food source than it ever was before, but we're still dealing with during spring and summer and even the beginning of October, it gets pretty shady in here. So we're going to continue select cutting some of these trees along this creek side here and encourage more sunlight in here, which is then going to encourage better growth. We're going to have a better supplemental food plot for these deer, and overall it's just going to be more attractive, and it's going to create better hunting opportunities for us. So number one thing, canopy reduction. The second thing is going to be the maintenance portion of the food plot, which is going to be taking a soil sample and adding the correct lime and fertilizer to your food source. If you're doing an annual rotation, you can get some biomass built up, and you can start to, build soil. It's going to take a long time, especially on these smaller food plots like this. We can't quite create the biomass like you would in a big 5-10 acre, field. So it's probably going to take quite a few years, and even then you're probably still going to want to add things like maybe deer grow or some kind of, micronutrient spray just to encourage better plant growth. But by adding good sunlight and the correct lime and fertilizer, you're going to create quality food, and you're going to create a more attractive, better hunting opportunity. But that's not the only thing to think about. While you're select cutting timber and while you're removing the canopy, you need to keep in mind that some of these food plots that are tucked away in the woods, you're still going to get leaf litter from all the surrounding trees. So something I like to do is take note of what leaves are in your food plot, and then try to figure out which trees are causing the most leaf litter. If you leave leaf litter untouched, and by untouched I mean without burning it or removing it with a leaf blower, it's going to be hard for, especially if you have a perennial food source, for that food source to come back. The leaves get wet, they get thick, they shade out everything, just like how trees shade out your food plot. Leaves will do the same thing. It's going to be extremely hard for that seed mix to grow well. So what I like to do is I like to come in at the end of winter, early spring, and I like to go ahead, blow all the leaf litter off with my backpack leaf blower. Then I come back through with my lime before a rain, lime everything, and then if I'm going to add a mix to it, this is a rye food plot. This is a cereal grain food source that I planted for the fall, but it's going to come back. As you can tell, it's already starting to green up. So I'm going to have a turkey food source come spring, and that's why I like doing these annual mixes. But if you're doing a perennial, same thing. The clover is going to be popping soon, and you're going to want to make sure you get the leaves removed off that food source, get your pH corrected, and start cutting timber. That way, when you get to the bud out portion of the season and your trees begin to start to bud and leaf out, you're not going to have so much canopy shading out your food source, causing it to die off at an early age. So just some important things to think about for food plot maintenance, guys, is going to be your canopy reduction, getting rid of your leaf litter, and then correcting your soils. Hope that helps you guys out. Thanks for tuning in on this week's episode. We'll be back next week.